It is August 1999 in California, and the outside temperature is hovering around 100 degrees. Out in the grueling heat, one of the most famous entertainers in America is jogging, dressed in heavy clothing and a thick, sweat-inducing plastic suit. His body simply gives out. Pushed completely past its physiological limit, he collapses to the ground from severe heat exhaustion. This gauge shows exactly what happens to the human body in that state. His core temperature skyrockets into a deadly 107 degrees Fahrenheit. He is rushed to the hospital, placed on a ventilator, and slips into a 3-day coma. The medical team delivers a grim reality to his family. There is a high probability he will not survive. How does one of the wealthiest, most universally beloved entertainers of the 1990s end up pushing himself to the point of physical destruction? To understand that, you have to look at a lifetime of compounding pressure, starting from the very beginning. Martin Lawrence was born in West Germany to American parents serving in the military. The stability of that early life fractured quickly. When he was just 8 years old, his parents divorced, and his father largely exited his life. His single mother, Chloe, was left to support Martin and his 5 siblings entirely on her own. She worked multiple jobs, taking shifts as a cashier and a sales representative, just to keep her 6 children fed. They moved into public housing projects in Queens, New York. From a young age, daily life was defined by strict environmental hardship and financial scarcity. As a teenager, Lawrence found a potential way out. He became a highly talented Golden Gloves boxer, seriously considering a professional career in the ring. But during a match, he suffered a severe broken eye. The damage was extensive enough that he had to abandon his boxing aspirations permanently. When physical injury closed off his first path, Lawrence adapted. He took the aggressive, disciplined mentality he learned as a fighter and pivoted into the world of stand-up comedy. By the mid-1990s, that pivot paid off. Lawrence was starring in blockbuster movies while simultaneously writing, producing, and starring in his own hit sitcom. But being the central creative and financial engine for multiple massive projects at once created an immense, crushing workload. The pressure boiled over publicly in 1996. Police found Lawrence wandering into the middle of busy traffic on Ventura Boulevard in Los Angeles. He was highly distressed, screaming at oncoming cars, and carrying a loaded handgun in his pocket. Later that same year, the erratic behavior continued. He was arrested at Burbank Airport trying to board a flight with a loaded 9mm handgun, and faced another arrest following an altercation outside a Hollywood nightclub. His publicist eventually provided medical context for these incidents, attributing the breakdowns to severe dehydration and extreme exhaustion. Escaping the housing projects had solved his financial problems, but the extreme demands of maintaining his empire replaced the threat of poverty with a severe psychological overload. As his mental health fractured, his professional life followed. His flagship sitcom, Martin, began to collapse due to intense behind-the-scenes turmoil. His co-star, Tisha Campbell, abruptly left the series. She filed a highly publicized lawsuit against Lawrence, alleging sexual harassment, verbal abuse, and physical threats. They eventually settled the lawsuit out of court, but it forced an incredibly strained production process. The entire final season of the show was filmed with Lawrence and Campbell never sharing a single scene together. His relentless drive had successfully built an empire, but the resulting exhaustion and erratic behavior had alienated his peers, derailed his hit show, and severely damaged his public reputation. Which brings us back to August 1999. With his television show over, Lawrence felt enormous pressure to maintain his remaining movie career. He was attempting to lose weight rapidly for his role in Big Mama's House, and that desperation pushed his body past its breaking point. After 3 days on a ventilator with a deadly core temperature, when survival was entirely uncertain, he woke up. Lawrence would later state that emerging from that state changed his entire orientation. He began to prioritize his physical health and spiritual life over the relentless pace of his career, recognizing that his drive had nearly cost him everything. This recovery wasn't a sudden fix, but the start of a multi-year effort to stabilize his life and career. He moved away from the frantic pace of the mid-90s, slowly re-establishing his presence through stand-up tours and a string of blockbuster films. Most notably, the years of distance eventually allowed for a genuine reconciliation with Tisha Campbell, a bridge that took time to rebuild, but resulted in the two now viewing each other as family. Over 3 decades, Martin Lawrence endured severe childhood poverty, immense public breakdowns, and a physical collapse that nearly killed him. Yet no matter how many times his circumstances, his mind, or his body pushed him over the edge, he proved that you can always wake up, pivot, and pull yourself back.